Good afternoon, everybody. I am so excited to be joining you today. I am Lesley Myrick, Nancy Ganzikoffer's associate coach, and we are talking today about one of my favorite topics in design, 3D renderings. So today we have the wonderful Fernando, co-founder of Duque Renders, and he's going to share about not only how Duque Renders can make amazing renderings for you, but how photorealistic renderings can improve your profitability and streamline your process and make things easier for you, which is, I think, what we are all looking for as interior designers. So, Fernando, welcome. Tell us a little bit about Duque Renders and what kind of services you offer.
Awesome. Hey, Lesley. It's always nice to see you. Nice to talk to you. Well, thank you for having me again. I love coming here and talk about renderings and how to make everyone's lives a little bit easier with the use of renderings. I can only do it right now with the use of renderings, but yeah. So basically, so we are a 3D rendering studio based in Tulum, Mexico. My name is Fernando. I'm the co-founder and director of the company. And what we do is, so help designers create, translate what is in here into something that your clients can see and understand and imagine without too many like ups and downs in their heads, and kind of like make a decision faster, which lead you, the designer, with more time to either I don't know, like go and get more projects, or just like work on your business, or just have a nice glass of wine. But anything works. So so that's what we do, and we do it proudly. We're over more than, I think, last time I checked, like, I think we're approaching 1,000 clients,
Oh
and
my
we're doing,
gosh.
and we're doing this for over 4 years now. Yeah.
That's amazing. And, as a designer who is using your work myself, I am beyond impressed. I mean, there's renderings, and then there's photorealistic. This could be a real room 3D renderings. And I think
Yeah.
that really is something that sets you apart, and as a designer sets me apart, because I'm not just able to present beautiful rooms in 3D. They sell the project. Clients have no hesitation handing over a check for all the goods, furniture, wallpaper, lighting they see in the rendering. It's a slam dunk when they can have that rendering to, like you said, the designer gets it out of here and puts it in a format that a client can actually fully understand, versus a mood board, or, those are great tools too, but they're not the complete picture of a room, and a rendering literally is a complete
Yeah.
picture of a room.
Yeah, no, and I like that we are talking, because you are one of our clients, and I like, I'm super curious. I know, but I'd like to for you to share kind of like what's been your experience too, and I think this is going to be a super cool conversation because of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in my own rendering experience, I've tried to do them myself. I've outsourced them, and they were perfectly fine. And it was one thing, actually, Nancy shared with me. Just, we were chatting one day, and her comment was, I really think that if you want to be going after this level of client, you need to up level your renderings. And I thought my renderings were fine. And they were. They were totally fine. Clients still liked them. But there is a big difference in the true photorealistic, really high-end renderings versus renderings that, is more commonly available software or that sort of thing. I think there's just an attention to detail, to lighting, to texture, to proportion that you can't necessarily get in other ways. So for me, it's an investment. I really need to make sure that I build in renderings to my design fee. And I want to share that with all our designers, is renderings are not an expense. This is not coming out of your pocket or your bottom line. You need to build these into your design fee, whether you're flat fee or hourly. And these renderings sell more product. Like I said, when a client sees the finished room in a rendering before they've even seen the finished room, they're a lot more willing and excited to keep the project going, to pay for that proposal and see it all come to life. So that's been my experience so far. It's a little bit scary sometimes, up leveling when you've been at a certain level and financial investment, and realizing, hey, if I want to get here with my projects and my clients, I gotta step it up. So I'd love to hear from your perspective. How are you seeing designers, Fernando, increase their profitability with this higher level of photorealistic rendering?
Yeah, and it's very kind of like goes in the same lines of what you've been saying right now, right? Like, you want to attract the client that you like. If you want to attract clients because you don't have it at the moment right now, right?
Yeah.
Like if you already have your client and it works the way it's been, you're doing your business, then that's totally fine. But uh with other things too, like the renderings is definitely one part of this, because it does come out as a luxury, because it is a luxury to have your room visualized in perfect 3D, perfect lighting. It is some sort of a luxurious service. Hence, you will get those type of clients. So again, if you want
Mhm.
to attract the client, and I was talking to I'm actually right now in Cavis in Las Vegas for Cavis, and I was talking to a client yesterday that she's designing a massive garage for a big family, and they
Mhm.
want to have, like, like luxury cars. So she told me, like, well, the problem is that first the house needs to be built. She was like designer builder team. The house needs to be built, and then I need to get all those cars and put them in there. Like, I need to get the Rolls Royce and the Maseratis, because it's a very luxury car. So like,
Yeah.
we can render them like with no problem. So again, like, they want to attract this client that has, it's a car collector,
Yeah.
and and that's a good example, right? Like, then he's going to render that, they're going to render the entire garage with these luxury cars that a client with the level they want to attract will actually afford to put there. So does that make sense? Kind of like how we're
Yes.
visualizing the client with the use of renderings to attract them. Is kind of like the reverse way to see it, right? You use the renders to attract the clients, that then they will benefit from the renderings. Does that make
I
sense?
love it. It's like, there's that cliche about what you wear, dress for the job you want, not the job you have, meaning like not that you're pretending, but like dress for the level you want to be at. Produce the renderings for the level you want to be at. Make that step. You have to show the world, you have to show potential clients what you're capable of, what your work quality is, and I think renderings are a great way to do that. And I love renderings as well for when you're low on project photography. Maybe you've got a couple big projects in the works, but nothing that's due to be photographed for a while. I have posted some of Duke's renderings on my Instagram, and people don't know their renderings right away. And it's great discussion point of, yes, this actually isn't a real room yet. It's coming soon. And people love that.
Yeah, and you use them to tell the story of the project. Like some
Yeah.
projects, I bet you have some projects that probably gotten delayed because of shipping, or delayed because of something else. So it's just a
Yeah.
long project. It's like a year, 2 years. Some of our clients have like a 5-year project.
Yeah.
Like, the renderings is that little thing that you can give them to keep the spark going, and so they're not, like, bored, or maybe when you need to ask for that third check, and you're waiting
I
for.
love That's such a good point, because there is
Yeah,
a real messy middle, especially if you're doing new construction, remodels. There's a long time where stuff is messy, their house is torn up, things are discombobulated. When I did my own kitchen last year, I had your renderings taped up on the wall. It was sort of reminding me and the contractor team, like, this is where we're going. We will get
yeah,
there. So
we will get
that's
there.
great.
Yeah,
We will get there. Look at this rendering. This is where we're going, guys. Like,
yeah.
stay the course. We're going to get to this end point.
And
Okay, so
nobody needs to imagine how it's going to look like. It's going to look
yes.
like this, guys,
There's
right?
It takes out that fear or that insecurity of like, oh, will that rug really work? Ooh, will that tile, like, I like it as a tile sample, but how will I feel about it on a wall? It answer those questions for you, which I think is great. Okay, so profitability we've covered. Dress for the job you want. Do the renderings of the projects you want. Even if they're spec projects and not actual projects, you can render things at the level that you want to be working at, which is great, which really can increase your profitability. Let's talk about streamlining processes, because designers are busy, we're bogged down, we don't want things to be more complicated. How can high speed, that not high speed renderings, photorealistic renderings, streamline designers' processes and actually make the design process easier?
Well, I mean, the question that we get the most is, I'm here because my client just cannot see it.
Hmm.
So if your client's not seeing your designs, there's something off with. I'm not gonna analyze where is off, but
Yeah.
there's something that needs to be fixed, right? Like, maybe they have a problem visualizing. If you're working with a doctor, or like an accountant, I mean, some jobs that are not like you don't use so much your right brain, like the creative side.
Yeah.
When these people, engineers, like but like coding engineers, and you can see those type of things. uh, it's hard. So it's not only has to do with the designer, but it could be just for the client. So if there's that hole there, they cannot see what you're putting all your effort and they paying a lot of money for, then that is somewhere that we can definitely come in and streamline that process, because then once they can see it, checks will flow faster,
They do.
decisions will, and we're talking about profitability in the first question,
Yeah.
streamline decisions will be made much faster. You're going to stop hearing the whole "let me just sleep on it." No, no, no. It's you either like it or not. Like it's here, right?
Yes.
And I think you mentioned that something like that happened to you, like the decisions after you show the images came a little bit faster.
Oh, absolutely. It's a mood board is great. Floor plans are essential. There are other visual tools that are still a necessary part of the design process and communicating design, but the rendering pulls it all together. I actually want to screen share if I can, and forgive me, I am new-ish to this software, so I'm going to see if this works. But I want to show the difference between
This is
Here
what
we
happens
go. I think we got it.
when we do live things.
I've got to change my system settings. It probably won't work. Well, sad day in America, but okay. Next time I will know how to screen share, because we showed this to one of our Profit Insiders Academy coaching groups. I had my mood board. It looks 3D-ish. The furniture's kind of placed where it sort of looks like a room. The wallpaper was on the wall, chandelier. And I mean, it's great. It's fine. But in contrast to photo realistic rendering, it goes from like, oh yeah, that's really pretty, I think it's going to be great, to, oh my God, I love it. It's gorgeous. Yeah. The difference is just night and day. So for me, this is a no-brainer. I will not negotiate with clients about taking renderings out of my process. Occasionally, someone will reach out for a project and want to decrease the investment. Well, we don't need the 3D renderings. Could we just not include those? And I'm a firm no on that, because of the value they bring in communicating what we're doing, how we're doing it. It just takes all the guesswork and questions out of what's in my brain, because it's putting it in a format that clients can understand. And it just makes decisions so much faster and more confident, which I think is really helpful too.
And I think that mentioning that part when clients actually want to take them out of their bill is because they're not understanding that the benefit is not only for them, right? Like it's like they're only taking something out of your toolbox. Imagine you go to a house and you want to measure, and it's like, you keep the measurement tape somewhere, like somewhere back. It is like that. Like, well, I mean, if you're removing the renderings from your projects, and again, I may be biased because we are a rendering company, but if you remove the rendering from your projects, which happened with some of the clients that we work with, they say, like, when we do them without them, the project is slower. So they take time. So it is kind of like removing some of your own toolbox just for the sake of removing a line item on your invoice, which that's what brings me to that point of, like, there's always a question, like, should I include them? Should I make them optional? And I wonder how you do it now that we're working together. Like, if you had them before, and how was that in interaction with the client in your case?
When I started adding renderings, I saw a big difference. Even with the totally fine but not photorealistic renderings, it's enough to go, oh yeah, I get that. And once, I've heard pushback of like, well, then clients get hung up on the rendering, and if you don't have the exact vase in the right spot. I've never had that issue. It's enough. It's really more about communicating the look, the feel, the volume of the space, the flow, how things fit. That's where I find the value in renderings. Not, well, there's a green vase on this bookshelf that's not in the real room. Clients, thankfully, don't get hung up on that. But yeah, once I started adding renderings, I realized pretty quickly this was not, it's just like you said, if someone was like, oh, don't bother measuring, we don't need floor plans. I'm like, I'm not going to go source furniture for you not knowing what size fits. With the renderings, seeing it in 3D matters. There are times where I've put things in renderings or worked in 3D and gone, oh, I don't know if I like that after all. It's part of my internal design process now, working through it, seeing that space in 3D before it comes to reality and eliminating those mistakes, which again leads back to profitability. I'm not correcting mistakes on the job site. Clients know exactly what to expect. So yeah, I am very firm on this is how we do our full service projects.
Yeah.
Yes, we're expensive. Yes, it's worth it. That communication tool is part of how we work. And gratefully, it has been so well received by our clients.
And talk about, and we haven't even talked about returns. Like the level of like your return rate will decrease drastically because, I mean, you first can measure these renderings are at scale. So
Yes.
and we've caught some designer, I'm not gonna say who, how we caught, to say like, this sofa doesn't fit here. Like, just FYI. And it's not once, many times. So because they're at scale, you can also like fit the sofa the right way, or if it doesn't, what happened if you didn't, then you have to return it. And how long is it taking to return sofas now?
Yes.
Probably a while
If you
now.
even can, often you can't even. I love that you pointed that out because it isn't just for the clients, it's for the designers to be more profitable too, so that we catch errors. And, you know, floor plans are one thing, but you lose that sense of volume and the flow around it. And that's why I like to see things in 3D personally. Plus the renderings are pretty. We all like pretty. We want to be able to show our clients pretty things.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, we can talk for hours about the benefits and how we can use them as, you know, to streamline the process or even making more money, or usually both. But I think we can probably talk about anything else because we can just spend hours here.
Yeah. Well, I think this was a great topic for today. Any other last thoughts, Fernando, about benefits that I've missed that renderings can bring to your profitability and your process?
I mean, for profitability is one last good one, and I think I mentioned it to Nancy, like the last time we saw each other, is that it's a tip, right? Like, because renderings are like any other piece of furniture, you can just upsell them for sure. Like, and the way we work is that we do it in packages, right? So
Okay.
we and you know this, you have a package that it's you're using at the moment for your own renderings.
Yes.
So the way we do it is that we have like a room of like a number of spaces that our clients commit, and they could be as low as like 5 up to like 15. Of course, they have different benefits, but the thing that I'm trying to tell is that you get a fixed amount of renderings, and you can go at your client and sell them individually, right? Like, for example, let's say that you have it included in your design fees, and it includes 2 renderings, but you know in the back end you have probably like 5, depending on the package that you want to get, of the same space. So let's say we're doing a kitchen together, right? And the client, you offer only 2 views, but you know that we're going to produce, because of your package that you purchase, around 5 images of that kitchen. All right. You tell them it includes 2. Any additional one has a small fee. I mean, but you already paid them. But if they want to get them, all right, then they will pay that small fee to get them, and you already paid for them. So that increases also your profitability of the project.
Yeah, that's smart.
And if for some reason they don't want it, they say like, no, you know what? I actually don't want to. I think 2 are fine. You can give it to them because we already going to produce them.
Yes.
You can tell them like, here's some extra value for
or it becomes additional social media content for you, blog content, things like that. Yeah, that's great. I definitely try to utilize those renderings across not only for client presentations, but Instagram, Facebook, blog, website. I have a coming soon section in my portfolio now where, because I have renderings, I can give a sneak peek of each space, even if the projects are months or a year away from completion. So
yeah.
I love it. Great ideas, Fernando. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. This is a topic I'm always excited about. So thank you for sharing your expertise. I will try to get the screen share thing working next time. But in the meantime, everyone who's watching, please check out Duque Render's website. Their work is amazing. I showed it to my husband. He's like, those aren't photos. I was like, no. And they're who I'm hiring. That's like, they're good. So duquerenders.com is the website, correct? Yes. Right above Fernando's little face there.
Yes. And if you go like duquerenders.com/call, like call, like call,
Hello.
then you can just choose any time and talk to one of the reps that can honestly, like, the idea is to understand what are your rendering needs so we can cater to like your specific case, because everything that we do is so custom. We do have some like prices range, but we like to understand you first and see what you actually need. So that ways are the best way to kind of like get started. StukeRenders.com/call, and yeah, we're available there for when you're ready.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thanks everyone for watching. And Fernando and I will be back next month for more chatting about 3D renderings. We'll see you then.
Bye bye.